Okay, this is Neil Gallagher, Mars Dad again, and to look at some Math Superstars problems. Let's look at the first problem. The first problem, we're given this grid of numbers, and we're asked to fill it in first of all. So we have to fill in the products. For example, 2 times 5 would be 10. That would go in the spot intersecting the 2 row with the 5 column. Here, let me show you something else that might help you here. Here I'll show a partially filled in grid. So here you see that we have 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. You would put 4 times 4 is 16 here, and so on. And for example, 1 times 3 is 3. So you'd fill in this whole grid, this whole array, with the products of the numbers, the row column products. 4 times 5, for instance, would be 20. All the way down here at the bottom, you have 10 times 10, or 100. And after filling in the grid, the question is to draw a line around the line that represents numbers that are squares. And all those squares appear on this diagonal right down here. For example, we know that 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared would be 16, 5 squared would be 25, all the way down to 10 squared, which is 100. So the line that we would circle would be this diagonal line right in here. So that's the solution to the first problem in the third week in our Math Superstars. Second problem, Mr. Jackson is preparing bags of treats to give trick-or-treaters on Halloween. He has 48 pieces of candy and 60 pieces of gum. He uses all the candy and gum and puts the same ratio of candy and gum in each bag. What is the largest number of bags he could have made? Well, there are some assumptions that are made in this problem that, for example, he's not cutting pieces of gum or pieces of candy into smaller pieces. So we're assuming he's putting whole pieces of candy and gum, and he puts exactly the same number of pieces of candy and gum in each bag. Well, let's examine that problem just a little bit. Okay, so we have 48 pieces of candy and 68 pieces of gum. So let me write that right down here. Okay, so 48 pieces of candy and 68 pieces of gum. And it's 60. I said it's not 68, it's 60 pieces of gum. Okay, so that's what we're starting with. Now, I wonder why the pieces of gum didn't show up. Let me just do that again. Place right here, 68 gum. Okay, so what I do when I'm working this out is I will take, for example, the number 48, and I'll find out what all the factors are that multiply together to give me 48. So, for example, 48 is 3 times 16, and 16 is 2 to the 4th. So I could say that 48 then is equal to equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, okay, times 3. Let's see, does that give you 48? 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 3 times 16 is 48. 60 is equal to 6 times 10, and 10 is 2 times 5, and 6 is 2 times 3. So let's try this. 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. So 60 is 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 5 is 60. And I look for what are the factors that these two numbers have in common. So 48 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, and 60. So we see that each number contains the factor 2 times 2 times 3. Here it's 2 times 2 times 3. So let me write that out here. Say that 48 then is equal to 2 times 2 times 3. I'm putting those two together, and I'll put parentheses around it like that to make it stand out. But then I have also multiplied by 2 times 2. Let's check that to make sure that multiplies to 48. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 2 times 24 is 48. So that works. 60, I already have there, equals 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, now let's think about this a minute. We're putting pieces of candy in the bags, and if we put 2 times 2 pieces of candy and 5 pieces of gum, then we will be able to produce this many bags. Look at that. So I'm saying that if we do this many pieces of candy and then this many pieces of gum, so what we have then is we're putting 4 pieces of candy and 4 candies and 5 gums. It's the number of gums in each bag. Then the number of bags that we fill will be 2 times 2 times 3, and 2 times 2 times 3 gives 12 bags. So the number of bags is 12. So notice here that and when we go through this process and we factor out these numbers, that what we have here is that the number of bags is the sum of all of the factors that the two numbers have in common. Okay, and that's 2 times 2 times 3. And then the number of pieces in each bag is given by the remaining numbers right in here. In this case, it's 2 by 2, and in this case, it's 5.